Hello, East Texas, and welcome into Under the Lights Late Night Edition. Dan Millay and Jimmy Searfoss with y'all recapping Week 2 of playoff football here in Beast, Texas. Jimmy, we're going to start out with our game of the week. It was a good one.
Oh, it was such a good one, man. All throughout this week, we had some games that really made our heart race out here, man, and this is one of them.
This was 1A. All right, let's go out to Marshall Maverick Stadium for our game of the week, where it's the Battle of the Tigers. Welcome to the Tiger Cage here in round 2 of the playoffs. Daingerfield versus our first drive of the game. Daingerfield with possession. Quarterback Isaiah Parker steps back to pass. He's got Rain Wallace coming across midfield, gets the dump, and then watch him turn on the speed, working towards the sideline, inside the 20 before getting pushed out of bounds. Few plays later, it's a handoff here to Ashton Williams, who runs behind some blockers and pounds it into the end zone for an early lead for Daingerfield. Hey now, second quarter, arc ball. Tigers hand it off to Josh Smith, who runs it up the gut. Big hole, nothing but space in front of him. One man to beat. Ooh, but he can't quite outrun Rain Wallace. But that'll set up a handoff to Kason Burgess. He's going to swing it to the outside. Some good blocks in front of him. Splits the defenders, drag down, but inside the end zone. So Arp ties it at 7. Now, just before the half, less than 2 minutes to go. Arp near midfield. Arp with the play action. Ty Langley looks back to pass those downfield. Doesn't hesitate. Wide open receiver in Wyatt Johnson. Nobody there around him. A beautiful over-the-shoulder catch. Arp catches everyone off guard, going up 14-7 just before the half. And now, there you go. There's that final score again. Arp won it 29-28 in overtime. And Jimmy, the good word on the street is that our Robert DeLugarza caught up with one of the Arp Tiger stars tonight, Josh Smith.
Let's hear from Josh Smith, baby.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, what a game. You guys saw that score, just 1 point differential to put Arp on top. Finally get that monkey off their back of getting past the second round. I'm joined now with Josh Smith, running back and linebacker for the Arp Tigers. I mean, you scored that game-winning drive. Just tell me a little bit about what you saw there and what that was like.
It was an amazing experience and feeling. Right before the 2 point to win the game, I felt like I was about to throw up because I was so nervous and I didn't want to let everyone down. But it was a great experience, and I wouldn't be able to do it without the coaches and the team that I played with.
I mean, you didn't try to play Daingerfield's game. You played your game. I mean, you guys ran the ball, ground and pound, but defense stepped up too. Isaiah Parker never looked like he was comfortable in that pocket all night. You're on the defensive side. Tell me about what the game plan was and how you guys were headhunting him.
Throughout the week, that's what our defensive coordinator, he designed all these blitzes to get pressure on him, because he knew the more pressure we got on him, the more uncomfortable he got, and the less likely he was to make good throws, the more he had to move around and stuff. So all week, that's what we were practicing. We installed a lot of new blitzes, and turns out it worked great.
We talked about it all week, finally trying to get past the second round. What's it like to get that monkey off the back of Coach Finke?
It's great. I've never had a practice over Thanksgiving break. Coach Finke hasn't had one over Thanksgiving break at ARP, and now we all get to do it together, and it's a great experience.
And just last question here. I know you guys said that you got dyed y'all's hair blonde after the Coons win, and possibly after another second round win, Coach is going to get involved. What do you think?
I think Coach Langley said that he's going to dye his hair with us, and maybe some of the other ones, but I'm not sure.
All right, guys. Josh Smith with the Arp Tigers. Great game from him. He had a touchdown tonight, game-winning 2-point conversion, and finally get the Arp past the second round. But I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to you guys.
Way to go, Joe!
Hey, how about Josh Smith,
Josh Smith.
The stats
That man
looks
is all
great.
business.
He was locked in there. Hey, I think his wife and kids are in the stands too, man. He had himself a game. Shout out to Josh Smith. Shout out, man, everyone on that ARP team. That's the big goal, to play on Thanksgiving. You want to practice on Thanksgiving. That's what every coach talks about, and now they get to do it. How about that?
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to say again, I said it pregame, but we have been underrating ARP all season ever since they lost to Troop. I forget what week it was. It was around the middle of the season, and after that we kind of said, well, maybe that bursts ARP's bubble. That's their only loss of the season. We're 2 rounds into the playoffs now, and like Josh Smith said, they're practicing over Thanksgiving.
Never mind being wrong when it's about an East Texas football team.
That's absolutely right. All right, we got Longview and DeSoto. Another look at this one. Lobos taking the field for another playoff clash against the Eagles. Of course, we all remember last year, this quarterfinal matchup that Longview won by a lot. Second play of the game here, DeSoto's legend Howell tosses to a receiver. Ethan Feaster makes some moves, twirling and swirling finally brought down around the 38. How about back again to pass? He pulls it down, runs the ball up an open hole in through the Longview defense for the touchdown. Extra point is good, so DeSoto up 7-0. Next drive for the Eagles. Sherrod Baker takes the handoff and squeezes up in the middle for a DeSoto first down. In the red zone now, the handoff to the speedy Joaquin CS, who slips through a hole and magically appears in the back of the end zone. Extra point was unsuccessful. Eagles up 13-0. Low ball now. Quarterback Trey Hamilton drops back, looks deep, finds a wide open Sean Davis for a 47-yard pickup. A few plays later, drops back again, checking out the whole field. He's got Jacaden Graves for the touchdown. Extra point, good. It's DeSoto 13, Longview 7, but of course, then the rest of the game happened. Didn't go so well for Longview. The Lobos are out. DeSoto wins it 60-28.
This one was a shootout for a minute, and I mean a minute. Let's go to the Gladewater Bears, Grandview Zebras, Battle of the Zoo. What a pair of mascots.
Oh, yeah.
Kaufman's tonight. Those are the zebra noises. I studied it, I promise. This was at halftime. Gladewater was up 35-34. Zebras answering big time. Blue Hubbard zigzagging his way into the end zone. You know, zigzag like zebras do on their fur. How about that? Gladewater struggling on the offense this drive. Bears close to the end zone. Ball is intercepted. Wrong team. He hit the stripes. Preston Davis picks it up, takes a knee, start at the 25-yard line. Grandview once more. Mason Landers to toss, and guess who? Blue Hubbard. Don't tackle this man. It'll hurt. And he runs like his life depends on it. Runs like a zebra.
Yep.
They're basically a horse, pretty much.
Pretty much.
A little paint job on him. Grandview going for the 2-point conversion. There he is again, Blue Hubbard. These are just the Blue Hubbard highlights.
Say his name.
That is a big-time name, big dog name, big zebra win over the number 1 seeded Gladewater Bears. Their great season comes to an end at the area round. Still cannot take anything away from this season for the Gladewater Bears. Those guys had themselves a run.
Hate to see Gladewater lose, but at least it was to the team with the greatest inflatable tunnel.
Yeah, hard to beat a zebra with red eyes.
Hard to beat a zebra. All right, this was my game. Henderson's Lions Stadium. Waskom ahead 12-7. 3 minutes till half. Wolves, my word, say no time, no problem. Few plays later, Max Renfro fakes the handoff, puts the pedal in the middle, outruns the defense to find pay dirt. San Augustine will go for 2 here, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Renfro fakes the pitch, takes it himself again towards the left sideline, carries it across the pylon to put the Wolves up 15-12. Waskom trying to answer with about 2 minutes till halftime. Handoff goes to Montez Thompson, who breaks away from the pack for some serious yardage before getting brought down inside San Augustine territory. Later on, Wildcats QB Chris Hernandez surveying his options, looking towards the end zone, trying to hit Julius Wash, but the pass is broken up by Jacorian Lacey, who says, no, not today, friend, not today, buddy. That forces Waskom to attempt the field goal to tie things up, but it's no good. So St. Augustine enters halftime ahead 15-12. Let's see where we ended up. St. Augustine comes out ahead 36-24 over Waskom.
Watch out for St. Augustine behind the pine curtain, man. They're way down there, but they're playing up. Hey, how about Forney? Carthage Bulldogs facing off against the Sanger Indians. Carthage, big-time favorites, just go ahead and repeat just like last year, but this time go undefeated. Carthage starting off strong. Jet Surratt handing it off to KJ Edwards, who just basically walks in for the tutty. We'll see him a few times tonight. Sanger did get past their own 50 on the drive, so here it is again. This time to Benny Smith, who's got a whole lot of dudes trying to take him down, but they just can't. Not until they did, right before the end zone. Couldn't quite get there. Sets up the Carthage touchdown for the very next play. Keemian Henderson, how about that? Reaching all the way up. Junior making the catch into the end zone. Carthage just one more. Surratt handing it off to KJ Edwards again, and he just takes off, man. He's so shifty, so fast, so hard to bring down. Sanger learned that the hard way. How about that? Let's see the final score. 65. Sanger putting up a good amount of points on the Carthage Bulldogs. We'll see that defense. Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, that's a valiant effort against the Bulldogs, but Carthage just too many weapons.
You know, that's the problem. You're like, yeah, we can talk about their defense a little bit. We can talk about how worried we are about their defense, but when you put up 65 a game, come on.
Doesn't really matter.
Until maybe they get ARPed. Maybe someone ARPs them.
Okay, well, maybe somebody maybe somebody will ARP them. Something to keep an eye out.
I made it up.
Folks, we got more games that we have not seen coming up after the break. Let's talk Overton, let's talk Canton, let's talk Mount Enterprise, and more after the break.
All right, welcome back under the lights. I've been dying to see this one. Mount Enterprise.
Absolutely.
Goodness, I picked these guys. I'm on record to say these guys win a state championship, and I can have a lot of egg on my face if they go ahead and lose this one. So let's see what Mount Enterprise did. Taking on Chilton at Kemp's Yellow Jacket Stadium. Let's head to Kemp here. Mount Enterprise Wildcats facing off. They're starting off with this one on fourth to Nate Wubecker. How about that? He's right behind Joel Otwell, slamming it into the end zone. Pirates set up good here. Nate doing his job himself for a Pirate touchdown earlier on. They're going to go for the 2-point conversion. Once again, Nate the Great getting into the end zone for that play. Now it's Jamarian Clark with the handoff to Jacorian Edwards, and it's good for a Chilton touchdown. How about that? Uh-oh. Should I be worried right now? Pirates going for another 2-pointer. Jacorian with the carry again, and I didn't see any Mount Enterprise highlights there. Uh-oh. Let's see it. Oh, phew.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, man.
Well,
had me going there.
You know how dumb I would have looked? I would have looked really dumb. 58-32. Mount Enterprise staying alive over Chilton.
Now you can continue to look super duper smart.
That's how we're big thinkers.
That's right. All right. Groesbeck Stadium, Overton Mustangs battling with the Goldthwaite Eagles, picking up in the game early in the second quarter. Mustangs already up 26-7.
Look at
Goldthwaite, quarterback drops back, tosses downfield, but the receiver turns out to be Overton's Justin Weir. Whoops, interception, and a nice little return on the next play. Quarterback Rylan Holloman tosses the ball to his right for Ivan Ransom, weaves his way through the Eagles defense for the first down. Later in the drive, Holloman hands the ball to Gabriel Miller, who bursts through the big hole, dances his way past the Goldthwaite defense for the 30-yard tutty. Extra point was good. Score, Mustangs 33, Eagles 7. Eagles on the move. Quarterback Slade Allen takes off running. For the Mustangs, Colton, oh my word, Stensifer is there as he strips the ball. Overton recovers it. A great name and a great play on the ensuing drive. Holloman tosses to wide open receiver Justin Weir. There he is again. Takes it for the first down and a whole lot more. Later on in that drive, Holloman looking right down the middle. Who does he find? Take a wild guess. It's Justin Weir. That's another touchdown. Extra point was good once again. Overton 40, Goldthwaite 7. Let's check out that final score. The Mustangs were doing their thing tonight, 47-13.
Overton is just a bunch of dudes out there that love to play football with each other, love to play every sport with each other. Every class, just comes up playing the same amount of sports and, all together. It's such a tight-knit group every single time. Overton making a run, man. I'm pretty sure they came in as like the 4th seed in their district. So they're having quite the run here. Hey, let's go to Canton and Pleasant Grove. Let's see if Pleasant Grove can keep their season alive. First quarter, Pleasant Grove quarterback Roland Ritchie hands the ball off to Nick Bells. How about who runs it up for the first touchdown of the night? Where's Colton Yancey? He's over the quarterback for Pleasant Grove. 7-0 Hawks early on in this one. Canton seeing if he can get something going for him. Next possession, ball is rolling out. It's going to be picked off. Seth Gunlatch picks it up before getting wrapped up and brought down. Canton playing a tough one here. Javian Butler runs this one in for another Pleasant Grove touchdown. Oh my goodness, guys. He hit circle, baby. 14-0 Hawks. Pleasant Grove's such a good football team, man, and they're making their way to Carthage.
He's probably an unbelievable flag football player.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like 7-on-7, that too. Yeah, Canton quarterback Court Ray passes this one. Eli Boggs is there, catching it into the end zone for a tough score. It's a tough catch there. So they get on the board, 14-7 for Hawks still leading just before the end of the first quarter. Let's go to Marcus Floyd taking it in this time. Look at the gap there. Wow. Perfect Marcus Floyd size. 21-7 Hawks, 48-7. That would be the only Canton score of the night. So that great season for them does come to an end, but like I said for Gladewater, man, can't take away the season that they had. One of the best seasons they've had since like 06.
That's tough when you run into a Pleasant Grove team like this one. They're pretty good.
And I think they got Carthage coming up. I think that's round 3. I have to double check on that.
We'll see. We'll check in with that. Yeah, you can let them know for the weekend, Jimmy. We got Leon versus Beckville here. Beckville beat Waskom in the regular season. They'd have to beat Jewett-Leon for their first loss of the year. They wanted to continue their run. Closing seconds of the half, Braxton Bullock steps up and finds Jordan Mojica in the back of the end zone. That ties it up at 7. And that's all we got. That was the score after the break. Let's check the highlights. Beckville wins it. Wow, 1-point win for Beckville. 21-20 over Leon.
Didn't they win by 1 last week too? They're just pulling out close scores week after week. Hey, Hard to beat a team that just finds a way to win. Let's go to Joaquin. Let's go check out Joaquin. They're still hanging around. Tough test tonight for them as well. 10-0 Honeygrove, who the ball was already big, 4th and short here. This is the throw to Trenton Runnels finds Connor Rios. If I sound surprised, that's because this was the first throw of the game, late in the third.
All right.
Red zone action now. They keep it on the ground. Big surprise, little tush-push action, finds a way in. Ball continues on, and that's what makes it 24-0. Joaquin, you know, you're not being surprising, Joaquin. You're not surprising us like last year. You know, Joaquin snuck in as a 4 seed last year and then went to, like, the regional finals, man. They went on quite the run. We know it's a good football team. You're not getting us this year.
We know things here. We know things.
Big
thinkers, remember? That's right. All right, we got Texas High, Midlothian Heritage, the team that beat them back on September 12th. Midlothian Heritage, their opponent in the area round, tied at 14 in the half. In the third, Tredarion Ball gets loose. The Oregon commit gets the Tigers down to the 1, and he would finish the job on the next play. Touchdown Tigers. It's 21-14. Texas High with the lead on the ensuing kickoff after a tremendous light show. Here we go. On the ensuing kickoff, the ball is going to bounce off the returner. Whoops, it's muffed. A mad scramble for it, but the Tigers are on it, and they would turn that into 3 points on the field goal later on. Heritage scores on their next play, so it's 24-21, and there goes Tredarion Ball once again. 66 yards to the house. Ooh, almost got slipped up there at the end. 31-24, Texas High leads it at this point. Let's check out where we ended up.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
See, many people were picking Texas High to maybe be the team that can maybe hang with who we're going to talk about next. But Midlothian Heritage beating them twice this year. How about that?
How about it?
That's a tough one to swallow there for Texarkana, man. They were gearing up for a deep run. Well, let's talk about the team they were gonna beat, or they're gonna probably face off later in the game. And the rainiest game in East Texas, or in Texas period, Mount Pleasant versus South Oak Cliff, the overwhelming state championship favorites. Rain fired them both up. Mount Pleasant was smothering the Bears all in the first half, wrapping them up just like that. And then mistakes cost the Bears early. This punt went over the head. All of a sudden, Tigers on the goal line. And after a full set of downs and a penalty, and then another full set of downs, they finally punch it in to Nehemiah Savage. Mount Pleasant goes up 7-0. Those guys are hitting the "you like that" all night long. But the Bears were just as mean, man. Tremel Minter putting a hurting on the quarterback there. Tigers struggled to move the ball the entire half, and this kid kept the ball downfield. Le'Veon Morton was just one step from breaking free the entire night, and eventually he did it. Sacco's up 10-7. Then the Bears offense was really able to get it done after that. Quarterback keeper here for Jaden Williams extends the lead. Offense for the Tigers just struggled all night long, man, and it made that defense stay out on the field, and that's pretty much how it was every single play. I kid you not, you can count all the first downs on your hand for Mount Pleasant that day. Major toughie, 46-7. I will say though, South Oak Cliff did not allow a single point in district. When they had their district play, they did not allow 0 points. Zeros across the board. Not until last week in the first round of the playoffs did they give up a point. They got some points given up against Mount Pleasant.
Shout out Mount Pleasant. All right.
Yeah.
No goose eggs, no Tigers laying eggs in that one.
And I will say that injured player that was injured at the end of the game, the Costa to stop early, is doing better now. He's not perfect, but he's doing better now. Yeah.
Excellent. Love to hear. All right. This is also from last night. A dark, misty, dreary Lions Stadium in Henderson. Elysian Fields hosting Garrison. Yellow Jackets up 7-6 already, looking to add on. Brandon Kennedy finds Evan White over the middle, down in Bulldogs territory, around the 30, inside the red zone. Now Kennedy takes it himself around the right side, and he'll find pay dirt. Elysian Fields increases its lead to 17-6. This was a high-scoring affair, folks. Garrison responds right away, though. Pitch goes to the running back, Avery Yarbrough. Senior evading tacklers near the right sideline, bobbing and weaving his way into the end zone. Bulldogs cut the deficit to 13-12. And then the rain picked up, as did the lightning, so we're sent to about a 40-minute delay with 2:55 left in this first quarter. Thankfully, didn't have to wait too long for things to get started once again. And once we're back up and running, it's Elysian Fields trying to convert on 4th down and 8. Kennedy lets it fly. One-on-one coverage for Alex Simmons, who makes the catch over the defender, slinks into the end zone. Yellow Jackets led it 20-17 right at the start of that second quarter. And folks, this one took a while. There were more weather delays after I left, but let's check out where we ended up My word.
54-55.
Wow. 1 point win for Elysian Fields in an absolute shootout.
Elysian Fields, man, they're hanging around. They're hanging around. That Garrison team's been in and out of our top 15 all year long, but Elysian Fields making a statement there.
They've been a constant. And you were talking about how maybe Carthage's defense is a question mark as much as it possibly could be, but, you know, they can put up the points, so who cares? Kind of the same thing for Elysian Fields.
Hey, man, they shoot it out like that, man. They can hang.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, we got one more break before we let y'all go. But don't go anywhere, because we got top plays coming up in just a couple minutes.
We only accept the best here at CBS 19, and that includes the plays that we are looking at, and we got some top ones from round 2 of the playoffs from some of the best teams in East Texas tonight, and we're about to kick it off, baby.
Eager to share them with y'all. This one comes from Carthage. Once more, Surratt with the handoff to K.J. Edwards. He comes around the corner, and he goes. The Texas A&M commit finds the end zone for the billionth time. I don't know how many times he did it. He did it so many times.
Let's see the zebra. Mason Landers to toss to guess who? We talked about him all night long. Blue Hubbard earning his stripes. Spins away from the tackle. Runs away from the Bears like a zebra would, but perhaps maybe to a lion that feels a little bit more apt for that kind of animal in that kind of environment. Please take this away.
Hubbard making the Bears feel blue, if you will. Just before the half, this is ARP. Less than 2 minutes to play. ARP near midfield. Play action. Ty Langley looks back to pass, throws downfield. Doesn't hesitate. Wide open receiver, and Wyatt Johnson's there. Nobody there. Beautiful over-the-shoulder catch for the touchdown and the top play.
Hey, let's go to that Lovelady game. Everyone was running for the ball here in the end zone for a moment of suspense, but look at number 72 falling on it in the end zone. Lovelady comes up with the ball and a touchdown. Extra point, though, did not go in. Score was 18-13.
Can't always get what you want. This is from last night. Elysian Fields trying to convert on 4th down and 8. Brandon Kennedy lets it fly for Alex Simmons, who makes the catch over the defender and then slinks his way into the end zone. Part of that Yellow Jackets' wild 55-54 win over the Garrison Bulldogs.
Hey, let's go to Chilton. Jamarian Clark with the handoff to Jacorian Edwards. This one's good for a Chilton touchdown. Wildcats trailing behind him, and I am just shocked we don't have a Kagan Ash highlight.
Yeah, me too.
Where was that?
I don't know. Maybe he was too fast for the camera.
That's entirely possible. There was foggy. Maybe he got lost in the fog.
Good point. Good point. Folks, We showed you a lot of highlights. Now we're going to show you a whole lot of final scores. Final scores from everybody you care about and maybe people you don't care about. Daingerfield and ARP, our game of the week. ARP wins 29-28. That's a game of the week for you, folks. DeSoto downs Longview 60-28. Grandview, the Zebras, down the Bears of Gladewater 55-42. St. Augustine over Waskom 36-24. Carthage, the Bulldogs over Sanger 62-35. Fort Bend Crawford downs Lyndale. So Lyndale's tremendous season comes to an end. Man, love watching the Eagles play this year. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Mount Enterprise wins 58-32 over Chilton. Keegan Ash certainly had some highlights in there, like Jimmy said, we did not see. Edgewood, wow, they edged past Woodville 59-56.
How about that, man? Let's go to the next batch. Yates losing to Pine Tree. Pine Tree quietly staying alive in these playoffs. How about that from the District of Doom? Lovelady downed by Mart 45-32. Overton staying alive over Goldthwaite. 47-13. Canton 7. Pleasant Grove 48. Pleasant Grove's headed for a super fight against Carthage. Honeygrove 8. Joaquin 41. Leon 20. Beckville 21. Whitney 30-45, Winsboro 38. So Winsboro's season does come to an end. That's an interesting one. Lufkin, looks like that game is still going on. That's 38-7, not going in Lufkin's direction against Pflugerville. Excuse me.
I'm wondering if they had some weather delays. Like, why haven't they wrapped up over there? But Pottsboro beat Malakoff 49-21. We talked about it. Midlothian Heritage comes back and beats Texas High 42-38. Kilgore blanks Stafford. So, okay, I think the halftime score was like 14-0 Kilgore. I was thinking, oh man, oh boy, okay. Never mind. We're fine. It's fine. Athens beats Crum 48-42. They left
that
those
was a great game.
Yeah, well, I wish we could have seen it. Sunnyvale beats Van 56-28. Troop, man, keeps rolling. 49-19 over Hooks. Bremen takes down Grapeland 53-32. And down goes Palestine Westwood. Columbus topped them 48-26.
That was the #1 team in Texas for a long time. How about that? One more.
This is our only private school matchup we have.
All Saints 42, Geneva 59. Tough one for All Saints. Get back-to-back going 2 rounds deep. Couldn't quite get past this one, but hey, that's a big-time score, man. That's a shootout as well.
That's a shootout, and yeah.
Any of those stand out to you?
I was just going to say that it wraps up a great season for All Saints. Obviously, of the private schools here in the Tyler area, the East Texas area, they don't always have the highest standards because they typically don't make it as far as the Brook Hills and the Graces. But this year was theirs in terms of being the private school in the area to kind of tear things up. So hats off to the Trojans.
Man, think about it. A lot of big-time East Texas powerhouses went down this weekend.
Yeah.
Longview went down. Malakoff is now out. Winsboro went out. I mean,
Lyndale.
I don't know. Lyndale went out. How about that? And then Palestine Westwood, they're out, man. So we're seeing maybe some new blood make some rise to the top there, like Troop. Things like that.
Yeah, how about it? The Troop Tigers are still alive, but we're thinning the herd. All right. Thank you all so much for watching Under the Lights here on CBS 19 and CBS 19 Plus. We'll see you again next week. Round 3 of the playoffs coming up.